Hey ManCave, this is Bob from the Bob's N Scale ManCave, and I am going to update you on my trestle build. This is part 8A, I guess. It's a continuation of the last one. But I got an epiphany and I watched some videos and I participated in a hangout on Google Plus, and the subject was carving foam to make rocks and other terrain. So I watched that and I went, I learned a lot, and I said, I can do this better. And so I did. I took my razor knife, cut some more slats into the rock, made some strata rock, and made a waterfall look more like a real waterfall. In fact, it's a waterfall that represents a representation of the Minnehaha Falls in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a famous falls in there, and you can find pictures of it online. Just Google Minnehaha Falls, Minnesota, and you can take a look at the falls and all sorts of stuff. But this is what I came up with so far. Now, as you can see, I use a lot of new paint colors. Before I had a really bright blue water in here, and now that's a darker blue because I put some black, spray painted some black in there. I used some Krylon to tone out a lot of the roughness that was in there before. You can still see some of the black and gray, that's all there really was, and some browns and stuff. I made that a lot more variable and looking more like the pictures I'd seen of the Minnehaha Falls. Now there's a picture out there without any water running from the falls, and so this is kind of how it looks to a certain degree. There's a lot of rock, like limestone, that was right in this area of the layers of the ground, and that was eaten away a lot, and so it just kind of slopes away as the water flows down or over the top of it, and the water never goes inside there, but it sprays in there, and it just kind of has eaten the water away. Up here is a lot more harder rock, and on that layer, and it's more of a black layer. The layer down here is also more of a darker layer, and so you can see a difference in each one of those levels. I basically took and carved that all out, made it somewhat smooth looking, put a lot of strata kind of rock up in this area around the sides, and also put some scratches, some angled strata scratches down in here. This isn't really at the place, but I just made something look kind of different, For all I know, I could say, that's Godzilla, just scraping across there, and just made some scratch marks on my layout. But otherwise, we have lots of other slant strata kind of shape here, so it really is defined more than it was before. I used a gray, and I also used a pumpkin spray paint over in this area here, and then I sprayed some black to give some shadowing effects on all those areas. So it turned out looking pretty good, and I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to put down some water, some realistic water from Woodland Scenics. And what I did was I took and put real water in here to see where the water would actually flow, or the liquid would flow, and where it may potentially leak. So I was basically doing a leak test to see, because right underneath this here, this little rock that I put in there, is a hole that went all the way through the styrofoam. So I wanted to plug that up and make sure it didn't leak. And it doesn't leak. But the water just kind of runs along this edge of the river as you would expect. This is a little bit lower over here, so the water just naturally went over to the side and so forth and run out. And it didn't really fill up in this area. So this is a higher area than the rest of it, and I need to fill it all up to at least 1/8 of an inch layer, and then possibly a couple more layers on top of that, depending on how much realistic water I have. Well, I just got done putting in some clear silicone across here to dam up the end. So when I put in my realistic water, it'll hit this and stop, so it won't flow over the edge of it and dry. So I won't, at least have something that's deep enough to use. So after that, I'm going to have to build a waterfall, and that'll be in the next video. But I'm going to have some water running over the top of this area of rocks, and basically hanging over the edge of this area right in here. So it'll look pretty cool once it's all done. I'll probably do some more touch-up painting in here before I actually put in the water and the rest of the waterfall. So I gotta do some touch-up stuff all around here just before I get that all done. And I put in a tree. I just put in one little tree here just to see what it'll kind of look like. They're not the greatest trees, but they're wire armature type trees, and they're fairly cheap. But I'm thinking about maybe trying to make some of my own trees. And then I'm going to put in some grass, another foliage in here, and then put in all the trees wherever I want to put them. So there you have it, ManCavians. The next phase is going to be putting in the water and start building the waterfall and putting all the water effects on there and give some look of moving water, and put some more rocks and trees and foliage and everything else on there. So until next time, ManCavians, happy model railroading. Stay off the tracks. Bye.